This presentation is on Kathe Kollwitz. Some background information about Kathe. She was born on July 8, 1867. She was born in Königsberg, which is now known as Kaliningrad, Russia. She was married in 1891. She died on April 22nd, 1945, in Dresden, Germany. A little bit about her personal life. She was engaged and married to a medical student, Kathe Kollwitz, in 1891. She sometimes didn't feel a strong attraction towards her husband. However, she knew an affair wouldn't be right. The couple lived in happiness from there on out after a few years. She had lost a son and a grandson to the wars. She was also the first female professor at a Prussian academy in 1993. However, the Nazis made her resign in 1933. She was no longer able to exhibit her artwork. A little bit about her career. Her father sent her to school in Munch to avoid choosing marriage. She studied printmaking and painting. She did mostly printmaking since early 1890s. Her artwork was mostly dramatic, etching, and emotion-filled. It reflected what she saw in World War I and World War II. A little more about her career. Her artwork showed her devastation and sadness of loss to humans during the war. She had created multiple sculptures made of art and stone towards the end of her time. However, most sculptures got destroyed during a Berlin air raid in 1943. A little bit about her artwork. She could have displayed any artwork she chose. She chose to do her artwork about the middle class. She found the working class to be a beautiful setting for her artwork. She later realized more about the working class. It made her realize that the issues that arose, which one was prostitution. She found relief about the situations by displaying her artwork based on them. War had an impact on her art. This partly could have been because she had lost a son and a grandson to the war. And she lived through World War I and most of World War II. She also created a few series of paintings during her time. She had a few series of paintings. One was called The Peasant War. She showed the brutality that happened towards women in the Peasant War. It also showed how women rebelled and took leadership. And it also shows a mother looking for her deceased child amongst many others who were also deceased. That is just one of the many paintings that is in amongst this series. She has many displayed artwork. There are 2 museums in Germany that are dedicated towards her. One museum is the Kathe Kollwitz Museum, that is in Cologne, which has most of her self-portraits. Another one is the Kathe Kollwitz Museum, and that's in Berlin, which mostly shows the circle of her friends. We also have one in New York, that's New York's Metropolitan Museum, that shows stuff from World War I and the visual arts. There's also another one that's more in the Britain area. That is the British Museum and Icon Gallery. It exhibits portraits of this artist. They have a special exhibit dedicated to Kathe Kollwitz. During her final years. After her husband had passed, she ended up giving her studio and apartment away in 1940. She then lost a grandson in the war in 1942. In 1943, she was forced to flee from Nordhausen to live with refugees to stay safe from the bombings that had been occurring. In 1944, Prince Ernst Heinrich had invited Kathe to come live with him and stay safe from the bombings, which she had agreed to. In her final years, she was cared for by her granddaughter, Judah. She had lived a very eventful life, and most of her paintings are very beautiful. It shows you what kind of situation Kathe had went through and what others had gone through during the war times.